Hey, so today we'll talk about Anne Boleyn. She was born in estimated around 1501 in Norfolk. Her dad was Sir Thomas Boleyn and her mother was Elizabeth Howard, who was the daughter of Sir Thomas Howard. Both of them were pretty well known in the community and known to be quite powerful people. They were also sirs, so it sort of gives it away. She was married to King Henry VIII, and he looked like this. Now, this is probably one of the more flattering pictures that I could see of him, that I could find. I low-key wanted to get the grossest one because I think this guy, his whole energy gives me the ick. However, she was married to him. He was the King of England and was already married to Catherine of Aragon, and then fell in love with Anne and wanted to divorce Catherine. The church was against it, and so he removed himself from the church and then decided he's going to make his own rules up. The marriage to Catherine ended up being void, and he got married to Anne and started trying to have a family with her. He was known to be more than a player, I'd say. He was always had multiple partners, multiple affairs. He just kept on chasing tail, basically. When he got eyes for another person that he wanted to marry, that's when everything started going south a bit for him and Anne, because he had to try and figure out a way to get rid of her. He accused her of adultery. He had plans that if the charges of adultery against her didn't stick, he was gonna get her killed, claiming that she was a witch, saying that she had a third nipple and a sixth finger. Slight plot twist, if you didn't know, the person that he had eyes for, that he was wanting to marry next, was Anne's sister Mary. Keeping it in the family. Anyway, to carry out the execution, they had got someone from France, from Calais, from France. He was a skilled French executioner, who beheaded her by sword. Usually it was done by axe, but she had a severe phobia of axes, so she requested to King Henry, this guy, to have mercy on her and give her a sword instead, or get it done by a sword instead. Now, these are pictures of Anne Boleyn. Well, the closest depictions of recreations that we can have is those ones. The one in the top left corner is a picture of her that was painted, and then the other three is different versions of that same face, of what she may have looked like in real life. The executioner is said to have received 100 French crowns as payment, which I did a currency conversion, and that's less than 50 cents New Zealand dollars, and that included the cost of his pointed black headgear that covered half of his face up. So she had a handkerchief put around her eyes to keep her eyes covered, and she used to wear a black headpiece that covered her hair. They changed that to a white one for the execution, and then once everything was going ahead, she proceeded to declare her loyalty to King Henry, and kneeled down and took the punishment that he had decided for her. after that had happened, they picked her head up and showed it around the crowds, and yeah, it's pretty gross. But it is said that as they held her head up, her mouth and her jaw and her eyes were still convulsing, so like moving, and fluttering and everything. They taken her remains and put it into an old arrow chest, and then they buried her in the walls of St. Peter's Chapel. All this happened in the Tower Hill of London, and you could still go there today and check it out and see the exact spot where she had received her execution. All just so he can marry her sister. It's ratchet. But that's Anne Boleyn, and yeah, stay safe.